It's track reviews.
Hey, hi, hello, how are you? Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. You know who it is. It is time for a track review, a track off of this new Drake project, Dark Lane Demo Tapes, a series of loose cuts and B-sides and everything that Champagne Papi himself, the Sixth God, Toronto's very own, has seen fit to release onto us for listening this weekend. And I will be reviewing it, talking about this project at length very soon, but wanted to take on very quickly a song that a lot of fans were hype about, Pain 1993, featuring Playboi Carti. There was rumors of the existence of this track for a little bit, and now it seems that Drake has brought it to us, and I guess now we have the chance to hear it. Let's hear it. A lot of people have been making a conversation over this track already. I will put in my 2 cents now. Before I do that, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor in this video, BAM! The good people over at The Ridge. They make these nice, nifty, minimalist, metal-plated wallets that fit nicely in your front pocket. Get yours today using the link down below, promo code MELON, for 10% off. All right, let us do it. Drake, Dark Lane Demo Tapes, Pain 1993, featuring Playboi Carti. Ba-bam. This could have been a lot better. This really could have been a lot better. And truly and honestly, my biggest issues on this track don't really lie with Drake. Like Tootsie Slide, there is a bit of redundancy to this song. It's pretty clear that there wasn't a whole lot of forethought going into the structure and progression of this track. It's pretty one note. Once you've heard the first minute of it, you've pretty much heard everything it has to offer to you, even though that first minute doesn't contain the Playboi Carti feature. What I'm hinting at here is that the Playboi Carti feature is not all that good, but don't let me get ahead of myself over here. What I will say is super wavy beat on this thing, those super filtered and kind of icy, and I don't know, there's something just a little surreal about them. That bed of synthesizers, the whole thing sort of hinges on. Simple, very crisp, plain trap beat, steady pacing, and Drake comes through with a cool little triplet flow. It's not a bad flow. It's pretty standard, but he gives it that sharp little moody Drake tanginess, I suppose. He switches up the flow a little bit for the refrain, which is not all that bad either, intensifies it a bit. So there is a slight hint of variation to the track, which is nice. And while Drake isn't doing the whole baby voice delivery or anything like that, there is something about his delivery and his flow that is kind of Playboi Carti-ish. He's kind of hanging in a range vocally where he sounds just a tad bit whinier. Not in an overly emotional way or anything like that, but he's sitting in an odd range vocally, which I think is intentional to sort of, make himself just sound a bit more in step with what you expect from a Playboi Carti song. And while technically this is not a Carti track, it's clear that Drake wanted to kind of borrow that vibe, borrow that aesthetic. The only thing that really sounds out of place on this track, in my opinion, is Playboi Carti, who, does come through with that very high-pitched voice that fans kind of expect at this point, but I feel like he's leaning on it so hard right now. Like that's the one thing people have been making a big deal over ever since Dial It came out, even though there are a lot of good ideas on Dial It that are completely outside of just Carti's vocal tone. But still, it's like he is trying to hone in on that aspect of his style so much, it's bordering on parody. The vocals are so thin and sound a little silly on this track. Not only that, but his flow on here, how expressive and dramatic and melodic it is, it sounds kind of like Young Thug. It sounds pretty Thugger inspired. And what's not great about that is Young Thug is kind of talented singer. with a good vocal range that is really unique and somewhat raspy and full of character. Playboi Carti is not nearly as skilled a vocalist. I get that he has a unique delivery. I will certainly give him that, but he is not as skilled a singer as Young Thug is. So he does sound kind of silly and sort of like a fish out of water with him trying to perform in this way, frankly. So between his voice not really being as great as it typically is and him just being out of his element a little bit, he doesn't really bring that much to the track. And look, even if you took Playboi Carti out of the picture, it would just kind of sound like an average, mediocre Drake song that is trying to borrow from Playboi Carti, and that's pretty much it. I don't really know if there's anything else you can add to it beyond that. Again, production okay, flows okay, not really a whole lot about it sticking with me lyrically either. Just seems like Drake trying to, again, hop on the wave, hop on another trend, appropriate it for himself, and I don't know, man. Drake came out the top on this track, and Carti was the bottom, which in my opinion is not like the best look in the world, especially since he is literally borrowing your sound on this track. Quite unflattering. So I guess we can leave it at that. I think the song is all right, I guess. All right. It's about as all right as Tootsie Slide, as half-baked as Tootsie Slide, which also had some decent elements to it. But, it's not one of Drake's best. And I'm having a sneaking suspicion that's going to kind of be par of the course for most of the songs on this project. But I guess we will see when we see. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this track. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Pain 1993, forever.